Heartwarming encounter. Young seamstress discovers incredible secret after buying coffee for a veteran. Rain drizzled down on Mia as she made her way down the familiar streets of her small Midwestern town, tired of the gray skies that matched her mood. The legacy of her grandmother's tailoring shop weighed heavy on her shoulders. Just 25, she felt pressure to keep the business alive, even as the once thriving town faced decline. Thoughts of closure loomed like storm clouds above her, but she pushed on, determined to find strength amidst uncertainty. As Mia stepped into the local cafe, the smell of fresh coffee filled her lungs, momentarily brightening the dreary afternoon. She ordered her father's usual black, extra hot before her gaze shifted to an elderly man seated alone on a damp bench outside. Mr. Thompson, a war veteran, sat hunched with a stack of medals glimmering against his chest. Mia's heart tightened at the sight. He often went unnoticed, just like her struggle. Moved by compassion, she bought him a cup of coffee, gathering her courage. "Hey there," Mia said softly, handing him the steaming cup. His eyes ignited with surprise, breaking through the fog of solitude. "Thought you could use this." "Thank you, young lady." His voice was shaky but warm, a hint of a smile fighting the weight of the years. Not many don't just walk by. As they chatted, the rain shifted to a soft mist, almost like a shroud of familiarity enveloping them. Mia shared tales of her grandmother's shop, memories woven into the fabric of her life, snippets of laughter, family, and long hours spent stitching dreams. Mr. Thompson listened attentively, nodding at her revelations, even as the past echoed in the silence. "I had dreams too, you know," he said, his gaze drifting back to the road. "But sometimes life has other plans. It can beat you down." His words hung in the air like the mist around them. They were two souls grappling with lost aspirations, the weight of hope turning to despair. Just as the atmosphere grew heavy with their shared grief, Mia felt a surge of determination swell inside her. She wouldn't let her family's legacy crumble. She had to fight for it. Before she could voice her thoughts, news spread like wildfire throughout town. A local developer with ruthless plans aimed to demolish not just her grandmother's shop, but also Mr. Thompson's home. Outrage rippled through the community, and as she glanced sideways at Mr. Thompson, she recognized the fire igniting in his eyes. Fueled by their newly forged friendship, Mia sprang into action. "We can't let them take it away," she exclaimed, feeling the urgency build inside her. "Lead the way," Mr. Thompson replied, pride surfacing in his voice. The resolve in Mia's heart deepened as people began to rally behind them. Neighbors who once seemed preoccupied now joining in the fight to save what they had almost lost. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mia's hope ignited a flame among her neighbors. Voices rose, hearts swelled, and tears forged a brotherhood amidst the chaos. Yet it was only the beginning. Just as they began to breathe hope, an unsettling secret emerged, a twist that threatened to unravel everything Mia held dear. What was at stake, she wondered. What would it mean for her shop, for Mr. Thompson, and for the heart of their small town? Time raced toward a confrontation, leaving Mia swirling in a mix of anticipation and dread. She stood on the edge of a precipice. Was her commitment to the fight going to be enough against the tide of greed? Maybe, just maybe, she would find the answer in her next step. With the sun dipping low, casting an orange glow through the clouds, Mia gathered her neighbors at the town square. Word had spread, and now almost everyone was present, their faces a mix of hope and determination. There was Mrs. Larson, who had lived next door for decades, and the young couple who had just moved into the old bakery. Even the kids from the school were there, their enthusiasm infectious. Mia stood on a rickety crate, feeling the weight of their combined energy wash over her. "We need to stand up for what matters," she declared, her voice rising above the murmurs. "This shop is part of our town. It's more than just bricks and mortar. It's memories, history, family. Just like Mr. Thompson's home." Mr. Thompson nodded, stifling the quiver in his lips as he watched the community come together. You've got spirit, Mia. It's what keeps us alive. But we must be careful. His gaze swept over the crowd. The developer won't play fair. We need a plan. As the murmurs roared back, an idea sparked in Mia's mind. What if we organized a town meeting? She suggested, glancing at Mr. Thompson. We can invite people to share their memories about the shop and the town. We'll remind everyone of what's at stake. Faces lit up around her. I'm in. Someone shouted. Let us get flyers out. Another added. The air buzzed with excitement. Mia felt the rush of adrenaline, a collective hope rising, brightening her world just like the sun trying to break through the clouds. But in the back of her mind, a gnawing anxiety remained. Would it be enough? As the evening wore on, they split into teams, drafting plans and creating flyers. Mia and Mr. Thompson teamed up in his small apartment, surrounded by dusty awards and old photographs. I want to show them what this place really means, she murmured, carefully handling a framed picture of her grandmother hanging proudly on the wall. You have the heart for it, Mia, Mr. Thompson replied. Sometimes, people forget the little things that bind us together. He paused, his eyes gleaming with unspoken stories. Perhaps it's time to remind them. As days passed, Mia threw herself into the preparations. Each flyer she handed out felt like a stitch in a grand quilt, weaving together the fabric of their community. But the more she immersed herself in the past, the more shadows crept forward. Secrets loomed, whispers of the developer's plans that went beyond just the shop. Rumors that spread like wildfire hinted at things nobody wanted to believe. They all knew the town's history had its share of upheavals. But this felt different. The night of the meeting arrived. The community center buzzed with energy, yet an undercurrent of dread lingered. Mia's heart raced as she stepped up to the podium, ready to address her friends and neighbors. Thank you all for coming, she began, the weight of their expectations pressing on her shoulders. As she opened her mouth to unveil their plans, a sudden crash echoed from the back of the room. The front doors burst open, revealing the intimidating figure of the developer, flanked by a few rough-looking men. Silence draped itself over the crowd like a heavy blanket as everyone turned to face this unexpected turn. Mia's heart plunged into her stomach. What now? Would they back down in fear or stand their ground? And as whispers filled the air, she realized there was more at stake than just a shop or a home. It was about their very existence as a community. What was the developer's next move? Would they be able to unify against the growing storm, or were they about to face their greatest challenge yet? Mia stood frozen, her mind racing as the developer surveyed the room, a smug grin on his face. The rough-looking men beside him crossed their arms, their presence like a weight on the crowd. The tension in the air was palpable. You could almost hear the collective heartbeat of the community echoing off the walls. Good evening, folks. The developer's voice was smooth, yet laced with arrogance. I hope I'm not interrupting your little gathering. I just couldn't resist hearing about your quaint little plans. Mia felt anger and fear collide in her chest. This was supposed to be a moment of unity, a time to celebrate their spirit, not a stage for this man's contempt. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to step forward, desire igniting the courage she didn't know she had. We're here to discuss the future of our town, she declared, her voice trembling, but unwavering. But a few murmurs rippled through the crowd. Mr. Thompson shot her an encouraging nod while others seemed to rally behind her. The developer let out a dismissive chuckle. Your town? I think you mean the potential of this land. I'm offering a vision, a place where people don't have to hang on to the past. Mia's eyes darted around at the faces in the audience. She was reminded why this fight mattered. But this place is our past. Every corner has a story. You can't just erase that because you have plans for profits. A wave of affirmations swept through the crowd. She's right, someone shouted, and others echoed support, shifting their fear into determination. Followed by a nervous cheer, the room began buzzing with newfound energy. The developer narrowed his eyes, clearly annoyed. You're making a mistake thinking you can win this. Your fond memories won't hold up when I bring in investors who see the real value here. His voice dripped with condescension. Investors? Mia asserted, emboldened by her neighbor's support. You think money can buy the soul of our community? We won't let you take that away. The kids in the back began chanting, Save our town! Save our town! The developer's smug grin faltered, frustration flickering in his eyes. Mia seized that moment. Let us share our stories tonight. Let everyone hear what this shop means to us. I challenge you to listen. The developer looked around, unwilling to appear weak, but Mia noticed the slight crease of worry on his brow. Perhaps he wasn't ready for the full emotional weight of what they would uncork. Some in the audience began to stand, sharing memories of the shop games played, friends made, lives intertwined. Each story was like a thread stitching the community tighter together, fueled by laughter and a few tears. Mia felt the room respond, warmth radiating through the crowd with each heartfelt recollection that as she watched her neighbors, she realized the true power in their unity. This wasn't just a fight for a building. It was about their connections, their lives. There was a moment where silence fell once more, but this time not from fear. It was a pause pregnant with courage, respect, and understanding of their history. But then she caught sight of the developer, who had been growing more restless with each passing minute. His face darkened, and she could see he wasn't ready to concede. Don't think for a second that I'm going to walk away just because you want me to, he snapped, his voice venomous. I will do whatever it takes to get what I came here for. A shiver ran through Mia. The battle was far from over. How far was he willing to go? As Mia stood there, a dangerous edge in the atmosphere, she realized they needed more than just stories. They needed a strategy that could match the developer's ruthlessness. What would it take to truly defend their home against someone who cared for nothing but profit? A plan began to form in her mind, one that would not only fight back, but push them forward into a united future. But first, they had to confront the looming darkness head-on. Mia didn't have long to ponder her next move. The developer's eyes glinted with something malicious as he leaned forward, clearly unperturbed by the community's fervor. You think this is a heartfelt story? He sneered. These memories won't secure your future. Time moves on, and so should you. The murmurs grew louder again, unease spreading like smoke in the air. Mia could see the worry creeping back into the faces surrounding her. She took a step closer to the developer, her heart racing but her resolve hardening. Maybe time moves on, but it doesn't mean our memories have to fade. If anything, they give us strength. Don't underestimate us. Suddenly, Mr. Thompson raised his hand, a sign of silence. Let us put a plan into action, he said, his voice steady despite the unrest. Mia's right. We need to strategize and show this man that our town is worth more than his cold calculations. A glimmer of hope ignited in Mia's chest. We can gather more stories. Let us create a community event. We'll invite everyone, not just our neighbors, but people who have connections to this place, those who care about the heart of our town. We can make him see what this really means. The crowd buzzed with energy, ideas sparking like fireworks. They discussed creating a timeline display of their town's history, gathering pictures and artifacts from local families, and encouraging anyone with a story to share to come forward as they planned. Mia felt her anxiety shift into excitement. It wasn't just about standing firm anymore. They were going to celebrate their lives, open up their hearts, and show their history in a way that could not be ignored. In that moment, she realized that stories weren't just about nostalgia, they held power. Let us meet here again on Saturday, she urged. We'll call it our town, our heart. It will be our opportunity to show what we have built together. The thought brought tears to her eyes. For each person who stood, sharing their anecdotes, she realized how rich their ties were. The laughter, the struggles, they were fabrics of their shared identity. This was a fight for what defined them. But the developer didn't seem impressed. As the meeting wound down, he sneered once more. You think a small event will change anything? He asked, his voice laced with mockery. I think that's adorable, really. Mia felt the frustration bubbling within her, but she channeled it into a hard stare. We'll see who underestimates whom, won't we? As the crowd shuffled out, Mia felt a hand on her shoulder. It was Lily, one of the kids who had been chanting earlier, with wide eyes shimmering with determination. Are we really going to do this? She asked softly, the childlike hope seeping through. Mia smiled, her heart swelling with pride. Yes, we are. We're going to fight for our story, and we will show them how much this place matters. The drive home felt different. Against the backdrop of fading daylight, Mia replayed the stories sent forth that evening. She thought deeply about the event they were going to hold and how powerful it could be. But a niggling doubt clawed at her mind. Could they truly mobilize the community? What if the developer found a way to undermine them before they could even begin? The weight of uncertainty made her stomach churn. That night, as she tried to sleep, Mia stared at the ceiling, adrenaline still coursing through her veins. The faces of her neighbors and friends, lit with hope and purpose, filled her thoughts. Yet the darkness of doubt loomed large, pulling at her resolve. They had one chance to act, and the clock was ticking. What if they were too late? Would their memories be enough to fend off a future that seemed determined to erase them? Taking a deep breath, she decided that the moment was now. She had to confront the developer before the event. A direct challenge, right when he thought he had the upper hand. She just needed to find the courage to face him again, but how would he respond this time? Would he double down, or might there be an opening she hadn't seen before? Mia woke up the next morning, the sun bright and insistent through her bedroom curtains. With each ray that slid across her face, a new determination sparked within her. Today was the day she would go face to face with the developer. She tossed aside the sheets, pulled on her best jeans, and tied her hair back tightly. She could feel the beating of her heart in her chest, rising with a fervor that was equal parts fear and excitement as she drove to the developer's office. Mia replayed her strategies. She had to be smart about this. She would avoid the emotional appeals, at least at first. Instead, she would focus on facts, showing him that the community wasn't just a collection of memories, but a vibrant, thriving part of the region with connections that could not be severed by cold decisions. With each turn the car took, she felt the weight of her purpose. She parked in front of his building, a large, sterile edifice that seemed as unwelcoming as its owner. Taking a steadying breath, Mia stepped out and marched toward the entrance, her footsteps echoing on the pavement. Inside, the atmosphere was drastically different. The lobby was airy and bright, but sterile, filled with people swiftly moving to and fro, caught up in their own worlds. She spotted the developer's office down the hall, its door slightly ajar. Taking another deep breath, Mia approached, her heart racing faster. Before she could second-guess herself, she knocked on the door. "Mr. Davidson?" she called out, her voice trembling slightly despite her resolve. He looked up from his desk, surprise flickering across his face, quickly replaced by that familiar smug expression. "Ah, Mia, how nice of you to drop by. Come to discuss your charming little event?" Mia stepped into the office, steel in her gaze. "Actually, I've come to talk about something much bigger," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Oh, and what could that possibly be?" His tone was dismissive, but Mia noticed the spark of intrigue as she took a seat across from him. "It's not just about the event, Mr. Davidson. It's about community. It's about what our town represents and the connections we've built over generations. You may see it as a piece of land, but to us, it's our history. It's family," she countered, the passion swelling within her. "Sentimentality won't pay the bills, Mia," he replied, a mocking smile creeping across his lips. "Maybe not, but it doesn't mean those feelings aren't justified. I'm asking you to reconsider. You have the power to help us preserve our home." The silence stretched between them. Mia could sense his skepticism, but something else flickered in his eyes. Was it doubt? This time, she pressed on. "You think a small event won't change anything, but the truth is, it's bigger than that. It's going to show how many people care, how they're willing to fight for this town." He leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled beneath his chin. "And what makes you think that it will affect my decisions?" "Because people aren't just nouns in the equation," she said, fire igniting her words. "Their stories, their memories, their passion. And when faced with that, even you might reconsider the numbers." For the first time, Mia felt she had his attention. The confidence bloomed in her chest like a flower breaking through concrete. She couldn't tell what he was thinking. Did she crack his facade? Or was he merely intending to mock her hopes once more? As he opened his mouth to respond, the sharp beeping of his phone interrupted the moment. His expression turned blank as he glanced at the screen, a shadow crossing his features. "I really don't have time for this," he said, waving a hand dismissively. Mia's stomach dropped. She wasn't ready to give up. "Please, hear me out. We have stories you might need to make your plans enough." "Mia," he interrupted, standing decisively. "Come back when you have something worthwhile to say." As he turned away, the fight within Mia surged once more. She couldn't leave it like this. "It won't be easy to forget us, you'll see." She walked out, shadows of doubt creeping back into her mind. Had she done enough? Was this the fight that would leave a mark, or did she just waste her breath? The way forward was uncertain, but one thing hung in the air. A confrontation of wills had just begun. What was the developer hiding behind that arrogant exterior? She couldn't shake the feeling that this fight was about to unveil more than just a land deal. As she drove home, an idea struck her. Maybe it was time to dig deeper into his past, to find what really mattered behind the numbers and the boardroom bravado. But would she be ready for what she might uncover? Mia's fingers tightened around the steering wheel, her knuckles turning white. Thoughts spun in her mind like a whirlwind, each pushing against the last. What did she really know about this man? This developer with dreams of bulldozing her cherished hometown. She pulled into her driveway and cut the engine, the silence heavy in the air. Outside, birds chirped innocently, but her heart thudded like a war drum. She shut her eyes tight and exhaled, picturing the faces of her neighbors, their laughter lingering in the air, their stories woven into every street, shop, and tree. This wasn't just about land to her. It was about love and community. After a moment, she opened her door and stepped out, urgency pushing her. She had to act fast. The town couldn't sit idle while a single man's ambition dictated their fate. Gathering her resolve, she decided to reach out to the community, to connect with them, to rally. They needed to stand together, not just for her or the event. This was about saving a culture, and they would need all hands on deck. Mia rushed inside, her mind racing with ideas. She turned on her laptop and started an event page, typing quickly. It would be a gathering, a demonstration of solidarity, a chance for everyone to share their stories, their memories, their attachment to the town. As she crafted the words, her phone buzzed beside her. It was a text from her childhood friend Emma. "Hey, are you free to grab coffee tomorrow? Need to talk." Mia hesitated but felt a spark of hope. Maybe this was the connection she needed. "Sure. Let us meet at Beans Brews at 10. Perfect. Can't wait to see you," Emma replied, and Mia couldn't help but smile. The next morning, Mia arrived at the cafe with anticipation fluttering in her chest. The warm, rich aroma of coffee enveloped her as she entered, the familiar cozy ambience bringing a sense of comfort. She spotted Emma at a corner table, her laughter ringing like a bell. "Mia, over here." Emma waved, her eyes bright with excitement. After exchanging hugs, they settled into their chairs, steaming cups in hand. The conversation flowed effortlessly, the familiarity easing any tension Mia felt about the upcoming struggle for their community. But soon Emma's expression shifted. "Mia, I've been hearing things about that developer you confronted." Emma leaned closer, lowering her voice. "They say he has a history, a sketchy one at best. Something about a town he bulldozed in another state. It's not just business for him. It's something darker." Mia's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" Emma hesitated, as if weighing the severity of her words. "I have a friend who worked under him. Apparently, he doesn't just remove buildings. He removes people. Those who get in his way don't just lose their homes, they're pushed out entirely." Mia felt her stomach twist. This wasn't just a disagreement over land anymore. It was a fight for their lives and their stories. "If he's like that, we need to find evidence. We need to show the community and the town what he really is." "Absolutely," Emma agreed, her passion igniting. "Let us dig for more info, talk to people, gather stories, and figure out what he's hiding." They spent the rest of their coffee time strategizing, formulating a plan that would intensify Mia's growing movement. As she left the cafe, adrenaline pulsed through her veins. With each step she took, she could feel a tide of support rising behind her. Like waves coming in from the ocean, it was time to turn whispers into shouts. But would they be ready for the truths they might uncover? Would confronting the past lead to devastation, or would it spark the change they all desperately needed? Mia's heart raced with the thrill of it all, as excitement and fear warred within her. If she was right, they were standing on the edge of something monumental, a revelation that could change everything. What buried truths could rise to the surface as they dug deeper? Mia spent that night restless, tossing and turning as her mind buzzed with the ramifications of Emma's revelation. Every creak of the house felt amplified, an echo of her racing thoughts. She couldn't sleep, not while so much was at stake. The sun broke over the horizon, casting a soft glow that finally peeled her from her thoughts, and into the day. Throwing on her well-worn jeans and a cozy sweater, she poured herself a quick cup of coffee. It clenched her heart a little, the caffeine almost a comfort to ease her anxiety. Today, she and Emma had a plan. They would track down other townsfolk who might have stories about the developer, people from various backgrounds who could provide insight into his ways. Mia scrolled through her contacts and dialed the first person who came to mind, old Mr. Harris, a retired schoolteacher. "Hello, Mr. Harris. It's Mia. I was wondering if you had a moment to talk." His voice, warm and familiar, danced through the phone. "Of course, my dear. What is on your mind?" Mia took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of her request. "I wanted to know if you'd be willing to share anything you might know about that developer who is trying to buy up the town. I've heard some troubling things, and I think it's important for us all to know." The line crackled slightly in the charged silence. "That man. I have seen him before. He struts around like he owns the place." Mia clenched her jaw. "That's just it, Mr. Harris. He is not just a businessman to me. He is threatening our homes, our lives." She listened intently as Mr. Harris shared stories of other towns he'd seen fall apart, how community bonds were severed, turned to dust under the weight of greed. "Thank you, Mr. Harris," she said softly after he finished. His words landed heavy on her heart. "You've helped me a lot. Let us find a way to stop this." As she hung up, Mia felt invigorated. She and Emma met at the local diner, the usual buzz of chatter surrounding them like a warm embrace. Over plates of pancakes, they recounted the stories they had gathered. Each tale was a thread, weaving a stronger fabric of their shared history. By the time they finished, there was a spark in their eyes. "This isn't just about preserving buildings," Mia articulated. "It's about holding on to who we are as a community." Emma nodded fervently, pushing a forkful of food aside. "We need to bring these stories to life, share them at the gathering. We'll create a narrative that showcases just how valuable our town is." Mia grinned, excitement bubbling inside her. "Absolutely. If we can show them the heart of our community, there's no way people will just let this happen. We'll build our fortress of stories." They left the diner, the mission ahead of them igniting a fervor of hope. But as Mia walked home, that unsettling feeling crept back into her stomach. Despite the encouragement around her, what if the developer was more than just a businessman? What if he had connections that couldn't be threatened by simple stories? A sudden noise caught her attention, a group of children playing outside. Their laughter pierced through her thoughts, a sharp contrast to her worries. She paused, her heart swelling with emotion. Maybe that was the core of it. Not just homes or stories, but the lives and laughter intertwining into something much more profound. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Mia spotted a figure approaching from the distance, a shadow with an air of authority. It sent chills down her spine. Could this be the developer coming to confront her? A part of her wanted to run, to hide from what she feared would be confrontation, but she stood her ground. Whatever lay ahead, she was ready to face it. Would this moment reveal the truth behind his intentions, or would it throw her deeper into his vicious game? Mia could feel the stakes rising with each passing second. What hidden truths, what unexpected alliances, might she have to unravel in the days to come? Mia took a deep breath as the figure stepped closer. The late afternoon sun caught the outline of the man, casting a long shadow that seemed to envelop her. She recognized him immediately. It was Douglas Mercer, the developer. He approached with a confident stride, his suit crisp and tailored. A hint of a smirk played on his lips, as if he already knew she was standing her ground. "Mia, isn't it?" He stopped just a few feet away, his eyes assessing her like she was a puzzle waiting to be solved. "Mr. Mercer," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "What brings you here?" He leaned back slightly, surveying the street lined with quaint boutiques and aged trees. "Just enjoying the view. This town has character, but it could use some updating." The word updating hung in the air, laced with an unsettling undercurrent. Mia's heart raced, her spine stiffening. "Updating? You mean tearing it down and putting up some glossy, high-rise monstrosity?" He chuckled lightly, as if entertained by her bravado. "Oh, Mia, it's called progress. You should really learn the difference." Her chest tightened. "Progress for whom? For the people who live here, or just for your bank account? Business is business, my dear. You should respect that." His tone was casual, but Mia sensed an edge. He was used to getting his way, and her defiance intrigued him. Anger surged within her. This town is more than just a business opportunity. It's our home. His amusement faded slightly, replaced by something sharper. And homes can be replaced, Mia. But opportunity? That is a rare thing. She couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just discussing real estate. It felt like an ideological battle. Every word was a step in the fight for her community's soul. As they stood there, a small group of children raced past, laughing in delight, their carefree spirits contrasting sharply against the tension in the air. Mia watched their joy, remembering why she was there in the first place. This was about them, about their future. People deserve a chance to fight for what they love, she said fiercely, locking eyes with him. And I intend to do just that. Mercer's gaze hardened. You think your little gathering will change anything? I admire your spirit, but this is inevitable. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Don't get in over your head, Mia. You might find yourself regretting it. The threat hung between them, thick and palpable. Mia's heart pounded. Did he have more power than she understood? Suddenly, the determination that had fueled her all day wavered, fear creeping in. But there was something else brewing beneath all of it, a passion so strong it flared to life. Mia straightened, ignoring the tension coiling in her stomach. Then let us see who the town stands with, shall we? Douglas Mercer chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. He turned on his heel, striding away with an air of authority. As he walked into the sunset, Mia realized something profound, that his presence would only fuel her resolve. She had to rally the town behind her, to give voice to all the stories that had been tucked away for far too long. They would be heard. As Mia hurried home, a plan began to form in her mind. She needed to bring everyone together. The gathering would be their way to stand up, to push back against the looming threat. All they needed was a spark to ignite their shared memories. That night, as Mia sat down at her kitchen table with a notepad, ideas flowed. Speakers, music, and of course, stories aplenty. But beneath that excitement gnawed the question that wouldn't he leave her alone. What if he had a plan of his own, one that wasn't so easily dismantled? Mia felt her heart racing. She was ready to fight with everything she had. But would the town stand with her? The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving behind hues of purple and orange in a fading sky. Mia sat at her kitchen table, surrounded by the crisp pages of her notepad, the details of her gathering taking shape with each word. But no matter how she tried to suppress it, doubt crept in around the edges. She shook her head, pushing away the insecurities. Focus, Mia. Every moment accounted for, every note mattered. Glancing at a framed photo of her family on the wall, she felt a rush of determination. They had built this community together, filled it with laughter, love, and warmth. No high-rise could replace that. As she scribbled down names of people to invite, an idea hit her. A community board in the town square could infuse their home with spirit, something that Mercer's plan sorely lacked. A space where locals could share their stories, showcase their talents, and remind each other of what they stood to lose. She smiled, envisioning vibrant flyers and colorful banners fluttering in the wind, drawing people in. Just then, the door creaked open, and her younger brother, Jake, stumbled in. Hey, sis, he said, tossing a soccer ball onto the floor. What is up? You look like a mad scientist over here. More like a relentless planner, she replied, laughter bubbling up in her chest. I'm organizing a gathering to save the town. His brows knitted together. Save it from what? I thought we were happy here. From people like Mercer, Jake. He thinks he can come in and tear our home apart. Jake plopped down into a chair, running a hand through his messy hair. Isn't it kinda hopeless? That guy is loaded. I mean, how can we compete with suits and money? Mia leaned forward, her voice firm but warm. We compete with heart. With community. We have something those developers can never replicate. People love this town, and I know they'll stand up to protect it. We just need to show them. He stared at her, and something shifted in his expression. Then what can I do? The glimmer of hope sparked between them. Help me get the word out. Talk to your friends at school. We need everyone we can get. That night, they strategized, circling names and ideas. While Jake reached out to classmates through texts and social media, Mia prepared flyers that boldly declared the gathering's purpose. Together for our home. The energy in the room buzzed, their combined resolve palpable. Over the next few days, word began to spread. The corner cafe buzzed with whispers of the gathering. At the park, families exchanged laughter, but the undercurrent of tension rippled through their conversations. Even old Mr. Henderson, who rarely left his porch, ambled down to chat, his lined face etched with concern that as the day of the gathering drew near, Mia felt a whirlwind of emotions inside her. Excitement and fear danced a curious mix that made her heart race. Would they show up? Would they care enough to fight? On the night before, she found herself standing at the town square, the streetlights casting a soft glow on the empty space. It felt both eerie and hopeful, like the calm before a storm. Taking a deep breath, Mia spoke out loud into the stillness. "This is for you. This is for all of us." Just then, a figure emerged in the shadows. A familiar face, illuminated by the harsh light of the lamp. It was Douglas Mercer, a predatory smile painted across his face. "You're betting everything on a little gathering?" he taunted, casually leaning against the lamppost. Mia's chest tightened again as anger bubbled at his arrogance. "And what are you betting on, Mercer? Money? Greed?" He stepped forward, his voice dropping to a silkier tone. "I think you'll find that change is coming whether you fight or not. You're wasting your time." Little did he know that in these last few days, something momentous was stirring in the hearts of the townsfolk. They weren't just going to stand by. And as they faced off, Mia realized that she would not let fear dictate her fate. She would rise up, and so would the town beside her. But deep down, an unsettling thought lingered. If he held more power than she, could it all be for nothing? As the night thickened around them, Mia grappled with the reality that the battle was just beginning. Morning sunlight kissed the town as Mia busied herself preparing for the gathering, the energy buzzing through her veins like electricity. She had spent so many sleepless nights burning the midnight oil, fueled by passion and fueled by a fierce love for her community. Today was not just an event. It was a stand, a shout into the universe that they would not be erased. Families trickled into the square, each person carrying stories wrapped in laughter and sweat, memories woven into the tapestry of their lives. Mia welcomed them with open arms, a radiant smile lighting her face as she handed out flyers and shared her vision with enthusiasm. "Today, we remind everyone what our town is about," she exclaimed, words spilling from her mouth like a fresh stream. The crowd began to swell, whispers dispersing like seeds in the wind. Old Mr. Harris arrived first, his wrinkles filled with history and hope. He opened his mouth, but instead of words, laughter spilled out, igniting a ripple of smiles as the square filled with neighbors who had come to rally in a shared goal. Mia felt a warmth spread through her chest. This was their day, a moment to shine, to forge bonds and fight for the land that belonged to their hearts. The atmosphere thickened with excitement as Mia took a step toward the podium. The chatter quieted, drawing attention like a magnet. She inhaled deeply, the scent of fresh-cut grass and blooming flowers filling her lungs. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice crystal clear and strong. "Today isn't just about saving a shop or a home. It's about standing together as a community, showcasing the stories that make this place so special." The crowd erupted in applause, fueled by her fervor. One by one, friends took the stage to share their memories, a little girl recalling the warm, sweet scent of pastries from the bakery, families weaving tales of first loves and friendships blossoming amidst the shop's walls. Each story was like a brushstroke on the mural of their collective existence, and Mia stood back, watching as the colors blended into something beautiful. But then, just as the moment felt perfectly fragile, her heart jumped into her throat. Douglas Mercer appeared at the edge of the crowd, his strong silhouette imposing against the sparkling sunlight. But this time, his cunning smile was replaced with a scowl. Unperturbed, Mia turned back to face her neighbors. They were standing shoulder to shoulder, resolute in their commitment as they recounted their pasts, each story more powerful than any empty word Mercer could throw at them. She had seen enough. This wasn't just about sentiment tonight. It was about unity. Seeing her chance, she shouted into the air, "Today, we are the soul of our town, and we will not be silenced. Listen to us, because our memories and dreams carry a power that material things just cannot touch." People cheered, a wave of collective strength surging through the gathering. It was electric, an unmistakable bond that held the crowd together. Mia cast a glance at Mercer, who stood simmering as the momentum shifted around him. It was clear he wasn't ready to back down. But perhaps today, amidst their stories, he would find more than just a small-town fight. He would see an unyielding spirit, a community armed with truth. In that moment, a soft but substantial hand clasped Mia's shoulder. It was Mr. Thompson, his voice steady and full of wisdom. Remember, Mia, this fight isn't just about holding on to the past. It's about pushing forward, finding ways to forge a brighter future together. She nodded, the energy of the crowd filling her to the brim. Together, they would create that future, one that honored their roots but was also expanded by the love they shared. As the sun began to set, cascading golden light across the town square, Mia took a step back and watched her neighbors flood the area with laughter and resolve. She felt proud, tearful even, as they stood firm, no longer afraid. And there it was, the moment of realization, a spark illuminating the sweetness of their struggle. They were so much more than just a shop or a house. They were a family. As the night drew on, the stories flowed like water, filling the dry crevices of doubt and fear left behind by the predatory atmosphere. Mia's heart swelled with fierce pride. They had come together not just to fight, but to recognize the power they held. A love so fierce it could overcome any barrier. Together they would stand strong against greed. With renewed vigor, Mia veered off the podium, forming a plan not only to share stories, but to celebrate the hard-fought beauty of their town. They would canvass the streets, inviting more people in to tell their tales. They were irreplaceable threads in a fabric that no developer could ever hope to tear apart. And then, Mia caught Mercer's eyes. Their intensity linked them in a silent battle. The fear that had consumed her in the beginning dissolved into a deep-seated resolve. She realized that this moment wasn't the end, it was just the beginning of an unapologetic uprising. Full of heart and fired, in this fight for her community, she had found herself. This was not just about fighting against a developer. It was about winning the soul of their town. As the gathering began to wrap up, she glanced around at her friends and family, their spirits lifted. No matter what came next, they were ready to embrace it together. And as Mia faced the future, she knew with every fiber of her being that they were bound by a family stronger than any set of walls. They were forever woven into the fabric of one unwavering spirit. Now more than ever, they understood this was their town, their heart, and they wouldn't stop fighting for it. Don't wait another moment. If you enjoyed this story of transformation and community spirit, subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your love for these powerful narratives, and comment below with your reactions and feelings about this heartfelt ending. And remember, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support right now because only true fans understand the importance of uplifting community stories.